live, maybe not. I hope we are. I think we are live in the madness, in the craziest of market conditions we have seen in a long time. There's a lot to discuss. There's a lot to take in. And I'm pretty excited for today's episode, I'm not going to lie, because I have not seen things go this crazy in a long time, all right? So as it stands, right, the current situation for anybody hopping in the stream is oh man, no, there's some things that happened that I wish, oh man, no, we have so much interesting stuff to discuss. But as it currently stands, right, let's just quickly say, whoa, things are interesting, all right? Things are very, very bad, but in a good way. But they're bad, but in a good way. But they're oh so freaking bad, all right? So as it currently stands, there's a very interesting situation with AI. And it's crashing and taking the entire market by storm. So a couple of posts came out saying, Jarvis, run the AI bubble pop scare right before the Fed pivots back to cutting. If you do not know what we're talking about here, we'll talk about it, all right? Do not worry. I got y'all. We have a good video or a good stream coming in. Guys, if you're in the chat box, today is a very slow one. Make sure, there you go. Make sure you go ahead and press that like button real quick, just so everybody... Roll call, make sure you press that like button to show some support. And let me know in the chat box where you're watching from. We've got a couple hundred people in, which is the lowest we've had in a couple weeks, I think. Maybe everybody is scared because of the market flopping. Not so sure. But usually whenever we start the stream, instantly there's about 1,000 people in. So that's crazy. But everybody make sure you press that like button. Let me know in the chat box where you're watching from. We got Texas, UK. We got XRP country. 𝗬𝗂𝗪𝗲. He says he got scared when he woke up this morning. I get that. We got Finland. We got Indiana. Let them come. We got Ireland. There we go. All right. We got about 100 likes in, so that is pretty solid. You guys are amazing. All right. So let's quickly put one thing first. Actually, I should say two things. One is I was sleeping. They caught me by surprise. All right. They caught me by freaking surprise. Anyway, so the long story short is I have the worst sleep schedule in the world. You guys might know that, right? So I was sleeping all throughout this monstrosity of an XRP burst where the price went from like $3. Let's say I went to go, I had a little movie night, something like that. It was $3.12, which it has been ranging at for the longest time. Talk about XRP. Then let's say I went to go movie night. Let's say it's about 1 a.m. or so. I go to bed at like 3, 4. I check, but nothing really had happened, when I went to check. But that's also because when I check, sometimes the price doesn't really fully update. Anyway, so I was checking it out. Nothing really happened. It might be 3 or something. But over time, right, over this night, the price went down roughly 15 or so, or maybe even more percent, from $3.13 all the way towards $2.64. And you guys know my entry into this XRP trade is $2.71. So for all the new people, I can now be cool and say, guys, we bought the bottom right here, $2.71. But the real loyal ones know we had this open for a little while at $2.71. But damn, if I was just awake, we could have doubled this position up. Because you guys know I wanted to buy big between 270 and 260. Anybody who's been watching the stream for a while, though, hopefully you guys got it in. Hopefully y'all got a good position into XRP. And we said 270 to 260 is where we buy hard. But man, I wish I was awake. Oh man, happens to the best of us. But hey, anyway, regardless, still happy that we got our position in. Even though I would have doubled it, tripled it, maybe quadrupled it, because we talked about opening maybe $1 million more at $2.60. We barely hit $2.60. I'm going to say $2.65 would have been good enough for me to open it. If I was awake, I would have definitely been blasting this. But hopefully a couple of you guys got it in. I'm not saying I'm your financial advisor. This is what you should do. I'm just saying that's what our strategy was all about. And hopefully at least some people got it in, because that could have been pretty cool. Regardless, the price bounced back hard after hitting 265 or something like that. It is up 13% again over the past few hours, back to 296. Still quite low, but now you feel bad. All right, trading is not emotion, sure, but now I feel bad to buy at 296 when I could have also just now bought at 270, even though 296 is still so ridiculously cheap for XRP. But I'm thinking a lot of people most likely got at least some juicy trades in. At least I really, really hope so, because this would have been such a good juicy entry. Man. Regardless, though, let's quickly cover the situation. Yo, let's quickly again say it. For anybody in the chat box right now, I really want y'all to press that like button. Not because it gives me money, nothing like that. It's just so hopefully more people see the stream, because right now things are so crazy. Everybody needs to be, notified for that. But for some reason, I think a lot of people did not get a notification. Did some of y'all not get a notification? That's a question. I think so. I think that might have been the case. Quite peculiar, because I still don't understand to some extent how these streams work. But maybe if we press that like button, more people will see it in their feed. And people are saying ACH is going nuts. We'll talk about it in a second. Somebody calls him a liar, though, or he's calling somebody else a liar. I didn't. He got one. Okay, so some people got a notification, some people did not. Regardless. So, one funny thing. We all know Michael Saylor, right? He's been buying that freaking dip like a maniac. Well, here, we can't really even call it a dip because he's been top blasting Bitcoin. They just bought another... there we go. There we go. So MicroStrategy said they just bought another 10.1 thousand Bitcoin for $1.1 billion at $106-ish thousand per Bitcoin. They achieved a yield of 3% year-to-date 2025. As of the 26th of January, they hold 471,000 Bitcoin for $30.4 billion at $64.5 thousand a Bitcoin. And it made me realize, anybody who's not blasting these freaking dips, in my opinion, is kind of crazy. I made a video yesterday explaining we might chop another time before going crazy. And as of this point, there's a very high probability, right, that we're going to go absolutely crazy throughout the next few weeks or months. It's almost certain. I'm not going to say it's certain, but almost. And to quickly note somebody, I said we never asked the like button for money because it doesn't make a difference. Just so anybody knows, there's no monetary gain in getting a like pressed. All I'm hoping it does is basically show more people the stream. Because theoretically speaking, right, if more people like it, I think YouTube also notices, hey, there's, let's say, 1,000 people who've watched this, out of which 250 people have liked it, so it must be good content, and then it shows it to more people. Right? No, it's just, he says I'm joking, but it doesn't matter. I'm just explaining it because some people still don't fully understand how that part works. I'm thinking that's what it does, but YouTube is kind of, uncertain in that aspect. I do not know if a like button actually helps or it's just for other people to see the ratio, but ratios nowadays you can't see no more, so I do not know. Anyway, Pipe says here, I got liquidated. Unlucky, but even now, there's another thing I should add. This is also what we described throughout the last few days, right? If you get liquidated on a move to, for example, $2.60, $2.70 in XRP, that is okay. It's actually not that bad. Lag, wait a minute. Why are we lagging? Let's see, what can I do? Why is it lagging, guys? I see lag. What did I do? Why? Let's see. I think we're good. I think it's over. I think we're fine. Okay, so there's one very important thing to cover, right? Because I was talking about it just now. Let's just say, I saw the lag, but I do not know why. It just says dropped frames. So let's say you open a position on XRP at $3 a coin, and your liquidation is, for example, $2.80. This is not a problem for most people most times. Why? Because if you do not have a stop loss, you just get liquidated, fully wrecked, you have two options. One is to buy back in at the price you get liquidated at. And if you've got $0, then you've done something wrong because that's way too tight, for example, if you don't have money left to buy the dip. Or option number two is you, again, wait for a certain percentage lower, for example, 5% lower, go back to the nearest support/resistance. In this case here, $2.70 was the most important level to watch out for, 260 to 270, but let's just say 271, just to be slightly above it. Now, even though it went to 265, so you could have bought even lower, you do not know that up front, but there you should have most likely blasted in again with another buy. Why? Well, if you believed in it so much at $3, for example, you should believe in it more as the price goes down lower because it's a better opportunity. If this is not what you're doing, you just open once and hope for the best. That is, in my opinion, gambling. You don't have a backup plan. You don't have another entry. Theoretically speaking, you almost always win by what I just told you. But if you really get wrecked because of improper management or because not having multiple orders set to lower your average price, that is okay. But generally speaking, then the best thing to do, in my opinion, is to then have another buy lined up at a lower price, which is risky because maybe you never enter again. But in this case, it would have worked, and most times it actually does work. Then again, you got to understand also a lot of shorts actually got wrecked just now because the price did a bit of a pump and dump, or actually a dump and pump. The price goes down a significant bunch, mostly because of this tech news, and then also goes up significantly again. So actually anybody that entered a position just got wrecked. If you're wondering how bad it is, how crazy things have crashed, or things have gone. So Rand posted earlier, he said yesterday, we covered this yesterday in a video, that things can most likely get way worse than what they are now. And we said, hey, it's not so crazy if we chop, mostly from, let me quickly find it. Can't find it anymore. Oh, here we go. The U.S. futures open later. The tech stocks could get hit hard on the hype around DeepSeek AI, could cascade. Something along those lines we covered yesterday, and the fact that things might look bad, but they might have not actually been at their worst just quite yet. And if we indeed start looking at things, there's a lot of money being put around all this DeepSeek AI right now. Again, if you do know what DeepSeek is, supposedly it is the best right now. Going to overtake ChatGPT, even though there's a lot of criticism around it. Coming in from China, Zhongguo. I'm a software engineer, internet, U.S. Department of Defense. Yeah, I never know if these things are BS or real people, but regardless. This weekend I uploaded a code base and all my work documents to this new cool app called DeepSeek. It's been super helpful, helped me do my job. That's a joke, because obviously it is Chinese and they do not want things to get in there, from the U.S. Department at least. That's a bit of a back and forward going on. But let's quickly see. If we go look at it, NASDAQ 100 futures fall over minus 200 points as the markets react to the DeepSeek release. It's just craziness all across the board. Yesterday, Arthur Hayes and a couple of others were saying, yeah, this is going to happen. You didn't know for sure, but most likely it was. Because theoretically speaking, cryptos could have had an inverse reaction to it. But if we're starting to look at it, man, DeepSeek is crushing U.S. stocks. NASDAQ 100 futures are down minus 1,000 points, except for their biggest drops in September of 2022. NVIDIA is set to raise $400 billion of market cap today, the biggest one-day loss in stock history. So what is happening? For some background, DeepSeek is a Chinese competitor to ChatGPT. It was reportedly developed in under 2 months. In many categories, DeepSeek is actually outperforming ChatGPT. DeepSeek is now a top performer in AIM, Math 500, and GPQA benchmarks compared to ChatGPT. DeepSeek has officially become the #1 app store in both the US and China. Less than 1 month ago, this app did not even make the top 100 list. Search interest in DeepSeek is now nearly triple the levels seen in ChatGPT and Gemini. And in benchmarking tests, AIME accuracy of DeepSeek was compared to ChatGPT, as seen below, int minus 8,500 or int around 8,500 steps. DeepSeek is able to outperform ChatGPT's O1 model. Of course, competition is normal and should be expected, so why are markets devastated by this development? Well, DeepSeek was developed for a fraction of the cost of ChatGPT. To train the model, it cost them $5.8 million, according to DeepSeek, and there's a debate about the total cost to develop it. However, let's just assume it cost them $2 billion to develop, or 350x their stated trading cost. Compared this to OpenAI, which just raised $6.6 billion in their latest round alone. OpenAI has 4,500 employees in comparison to just 200 employees at DeepSeek, or 22 times more people. And these chips used by DeepSeek are far less advanced. Markets can't figure out how they did this or how it came up. This morning, NASDAQ 100 futures fell nearly 1,000 points, the biggest drop in over 2 years, which is absolutely crazy. Roughly 350,000 NASDAQ 100 future contracts have been traded pre-market so far. This is nearly the 30-day average for pre-market trade. Volume is very telling here. So, yeah, just absolutely crazy. Right, absolutely crazy across the board. Anyway, so in the chat box real quick, did anybody sell any coins? Did anybody buy? What have you guys been up to? Anybody buy? Did anybody sell? Are you guys panicking? Are you guys good? What's going on? Nomadic says he bought Pipeline serves daily says you got liquidated. I still wonder, but did you add to your position, or you just had one position and you stuck with it? And what about our theory to buy at 260, 270? What we talked about the last few days? Nothing but bye. Bought XRP and made a quick 10x on some DeepSeek meme coin. That is crazy. Bought more HBAR, XLM, and XRP in the dip. That is solid. That's lucky for you that you were awake to see it. Your take on XLM, could you watch the chart? We talked about XLM, I think, a day and a half ago or so. I made my longer term prediction. And again, I still stand by that. I still think XLM and coins similar like that will still 10x from here. Daniel says XP long. There's juicy. Ladies and gentlemen, by the way, if you're looking to trade, there's a link down below to 𝗏𝗏. It's what I'm using to trade on right now. And remember a few days ago I said I'm giving away 2 iPhone 16s, 16 Pros, and a 2 AirPods Pros. We still haven't done it. So it still needs to happen. At first, the date was the 24th, but then I forgot about it for a few days. So I'll do it the end of January. All right, so the 31st of January, I'll give away 2 iPhone 16s or Pros, whatever. It's just $1,500 per person. 2 AirPods Pro Max or something like that. I don't know what it's called. AirPods Pro, whatever. It's like $300, something like that. If you guys want something else, you buy whatever the frick you want. I had to think of something cool, right? So 2 iPhone 16s, 2 AirPods Pros. It's about $4,000 or so. So if you guys are interested, 𝗏𝗏 is down below. You can use it from anywhere in the world. But it's just if you're interested in trading. If you're not, then obviously you are fine. Let's see here. So Pipeline says position at $3, liquidated at 268. Still have my spot bags. 268 is such a rough spot to get liquidated at. Oh, that sucks. But again, I do not fully understand why people don't buy in back. But I guess it's a tough thing to learn. But you'll get better from that perspective. How do we join giveaway? Actually, it's pretty simple. It's just I'm not sure if it's going to be random or if it's going to be a matter of you at least have to have traded a few times. Because before I said, okay, we have this and this and that's requirement, but people were against it. So now I've stated, all you got to do is make sure you have at least one trade over on 𝗏𝗏. That's it. That's my criteria thus far. But we could do more in the sense that people who have been trading more get rewarded more. But I'm not so sure yet. But that's at least for now what I'm thinking. But I could also do, you need to have traded at least like 10 times, something stupid like that. I don't know yet. It doesn't matter that much to me. Because on the one hand, I'm thinking, new is also cool. On the one hand, you also want to reward people who've been around for a while. So we're definitely not going to exclude people who've been around for a while. Somebody says DeepSeek is down for new users. Yeah, they blocked US numbers and actually everything except for China. Now, the thing is, I don't really care that much for using AI myself. If I use ChatGPT or DeepSeek, the 1% better, for example, matters to some, but to me, it really doesn't that much. Second of all, I have a Chinese number, so I can just sign up through that, I guess. That's also another point, I guess, maybe. Regardless, the situation is dire, though, because NVIDIA has fallen. I've never seen it fall this much. I guess it has potentially, but from the way the market's been looking, I think this is going to be the craziest crash ever. And the long story short is that the cost relative for DeepSeek is so incredibly low that people are afraid of what this brings. And for some reason, because all the tech stocks were falling, Bitcoin also fell, but to some extent, it doesn't really make sense. But I guess that's always with Bitcoin, right? It always does a little bit of a crazy move. Anyway, so it's kind of funny. NVIDIA is now down 10% in pre-market trading, and somebody said, are people actually so stupid? What did they think DeepSeek R1 was trained on? Potato batteries? In the sense that everything AI-related will most likely still use GPUs and things of the sort. Why go get rid of them? It's most likely because they're using different chips, which are most likely significantly cheaper still. Not better, but from that perspective, maybe they don't need NVIDIA for everything they've got. Marcus says, hey Dusty, what do you think of XCN now? The Justice and stuff happened in 2022 and have been cleared. I believe in the tech behind it. Do your own research. So I'll give you a little thumbs up. My thoughts are, you could believe in the tech, even if there was a massive FUD wave going on before. I'm not a biggest fan of Justin's son. I think he's an interesting character. He's extremely wealthy and does good, but I don't necessarily think he's the best guy in the world. So I take his words with significant caution. But the opposite side, and this is very important to mention though still, if we're taking a look at XCN, it's been so hyped up. It's significant up, significant down. Be careful with that. But I do not know much about the tech. It could be that it's an extremely good coin. But if people are saying, oh, there's manipulation going on, they're manipulating the price, it could be. I just do not know. So that is what I'll state about it. XRP has been doing good again. Boys, we're back, huh? Look at that. So the trade, theoretically speaking, we right now, actually today, I've already made $20,000 on this trade because just now, theoretically speaking, we could have opened it right here, which was pretty damn cool. If you think about it, right? This has, again, been our strategy for a long time. If I was awake, we would have at least 5x this profit. We would right now have more than $100,000 in profit because I told you guys I will probably open $1.2 million worth of a position at 260 to 270 and then probably add it to 2.2 mil if it actually goes to, or 2.2 to 2.5 mil if it goes to $2. Why? Because, again, I am so incredibly bullish on XRP. I don't get it. Like, you don't got to tell me twice that anything actually for that sake. Like, man, people don't get it. I'm not an XRP maximalist. There are many coins that are so incredibly good, but it just makes sense for XRP to do well, which is why I keep sticking with it. I mean, I'm not 1,000% sure, but I'm pretty damn sure. Everybody in my chats is all talking about this DeepSeek. Everybody is talking about it now, man. Holy smokes. Oh, by the way, DeepSeek does not have an official coin. If you're buying something, it is a scam, just so you know. But you can still make money on scams, though, right? So that's the craziest thing I've said in a while. But the point is, even if it's so freaking stupid, you can still make money on it. DeepSeek says servers degraded due to large-scale malicious attack. New news coming out. Let's see here. DeepSeek restricts registration to China mobile users only. Currently, only registration with mainland China mobile phones number is supported. Again, I have a mainland China mobile phone number and phone, actually. I like China, man. So DeepSeek lied about how many GPUs there are using and now restricted access to only Zhongguo. So the massive stock market and crypto sell-off was due to us believing the CCP built an AI model 1% weaker than ChatGPT for 95% cheaper. Have we not learned our lesson from the virus? Damn, that's a heavy statement. Interesting. You know what I always get? This question I get multiple times a day. How many XRP coins do you hold without giving away your bag or what? So again, people are pocket watching a bit too much. I mean, you can always ask, so don't mind it. But watch your own pockets. It doesn't matter what anybody else has. Just think about what you have or what you're getting to, all right? Any number I tell you gives you no insight into nothing. Ruben says he bad-mouthed XCN tokens and then wanted 1 billion tokens. Again, man, people can have all sorts of reasons for doing things. It could be that XCN is the most amazing coin out there and I just don't know. It could be that it's a stupid coin. I do not know. Right? I do not care that much. If you're saying it's going to be amazing, my friend, I wish you the best. But if there's so much speculation around it, so it's the same for XRP, right? Because I've been holding this coin for so many years and I know so much about it, I can see through all the freaking scam articles. I can see through all the manipulation tactics. And I can see through a lot of the people who try to downplay the importance or just call it a blatant scam. But if it's a new coin, let's just say you never heard of XRP before, and the first 7 articles you read are why it's a scam, and then the 8th person is saying why it's so amazing, you're going to be more cautious. Now, if you take the time to really sit down and look into it, maybe it's really good. And that could be as well for the coin like XCN, like you guys were talking about just now. It could be that it's actually really, really good, but it most likely takes some time to get to know what it's about. And again, if so many people are against it, you really need to see so much information to make sure that not one of those parties is, to make sure one of those parties is wrong, I guess. And I just have not done it. So from my perspective, it's a controversial coin that I do not know much about. And I don't have the will right now to take a look at it. If I miss the gains, c'est la vie, so be it. But yeah, that's what it is. Right? You can't catch them all. And the amount of coins that people talk about in my comment section every single day, there are hundreds of them. So I don't mind missing 1, 2, 10,000 coins as long as my main coins do well. Camel says, what will happen tomorrow? Is there any news on XRP? My friend, right now, there's not that much going on. Bro, what are you talking about? Chinese wrote the best AI papers. I think they're having a discussion here about AI. China literally just made up this AI processor and capability like a kid lying about doing their homework, like we weren't going to take a look at that nonsense. And then the rebuttal is actually China wrote the best AI papers. I do not know enough to talk about this. I'm not sure who's better at AI, the mainland or the other mainland, I guess. All I know is that they're wiping out the stock market right now. And it's kind of funny when I think of like the Cold War, how it's kind of like a race for the top. Right now it seems to be a race for AI, just like how we kind of predicted a race for crypto or blockchain tech to happen at some point, with Trump coming in now. And I think of, if you think back of nuclear. But man, the news has just been all over the place right now. Anthony had a couple of words to say. Let's quickly take a look. Why most people are wrong about DeepSeek AI and the impact on the financial markets. A new AI model out of China is currently creating uncertainty and volatility in the markets. This morning, DeepSeek, which was supposedly developed by a startup with 200 employees, has proven to be more effective than OpenAI's ChatGPT in some different tests. It's also been doing well in the rankings. Usually a launch that gains momentum like this so quickly is celebrated. So why is the market, freaking out? Short answer is because majority of investors don't understand how technology and financial markets are related. In order to understand the miscalculation, we must first understand what the average investor believes right now. They have seen a new Chinese model published that was reportedly created for under $6 million, and the LLM has been open sourced for anyone to use. This immediately begs the question of why American companies have spent so much money to build inferior models, along with creating a narrative that the US may be losing the competition for AI supremacy. But here's the thing. You can't believe anything coming out of China right now. Damn. The government has a track record of misleading financial markets on various metrics, and Chinese companies have been caught making fraudulent claims over and over again. I have no idea how much money it costs to build DeepSeek, but it feels odd that OpenAI, Anthropic, Perplexity, XAI, and many others have raised billions of dollars each, and then a random startup claims to have built something better for less than 1% of the capital investment. Could it be possible? Sure. Is it probable? Absolutely not. He has a solid point of, well, there is a chance that it's not fully true, but on the opposite side, theoretically speaking, breakthroughs like this can happen. But let's assume that DeepSeek actually pulled this off for $6 million. Next question is whether investors should be excited or scared. I feel strongly that a better, cheaper model available to anyone in the world should be a net positive for society. You're going to hear everyone talking about Jevons paradox in the coming days. The idea states an increase in efficiency in resource use will generate an increase in resource consumption rather than a decrease. Even Microsoft's Satya Nadella tweeted it already. More companies are able to leverage the technology to create economic activity and drive GDP growth. Individuals should be able to save time and become more effective at their jobs, and more problems will be solved. So DeepSeek's innovation will drive more use of AI rather than less. This is all positive on macro basis, which is why we buy the freaking dip, all right? And why most people, whatever they're stating, just they're raising panic for no real good reason, right? The market's going crazy in the crash department, but really, is it so bad? The fear starts to come into investors' minds when they wonder if they bet on the wrong companies. Many of the investors I know couldn't explain the intricacies of AI. They throw around buzzwords and hope no one digs below surface level in their conversation. Instead of allocating capital based on technical understanding, most of these individuals and institutions are merely momentum investing. And again, I always explain why I like momentum investing for the crypto markets, and it basically goes along the lines of whatever's doing well will most likely do significantly better. So you're betting on the winning horse to win more. This is along the lines of, let's say you're in a bull market, everything is going up. You're expecting that everything that's going up is going to go up more because the market is good and because they're doing good things, making advancements, innovation, etc., instead of betting on the most undervalued thing that is yet to be discovered, right? Which is also a big difference between basically putting money in a bear market by trying to buy things that are cheap right now, trying to buy things that have gone down a lot, versus whatever's working, you hope it's going to do better. Nvidia has gone up a lot, so they buy the stock because odds are it will continue going up. Same with a variety of other companies. The funny thing is that momentum investing in growth stocks is a good strategy most of the time. Again, betting on winners wins. It just works like that most of the time. Just like in a bull market, in the crypto space, if you buy coins that have done well, I keep saying this every single time, you tend to win. However, it can be brutal to go through the first few times that momentum investing is the wrong strategy. So ask yourself, why are investors selling NVIDIA because a better model came out? Shouldn't NVIDIA investors be excited that AI will become more prevalent and so NVIDIA's products will be used more often? Well, the concern this morning is DeepSeek claims they built new technology using inferior chips to what many American companies have access to. This is supposed to make people bearish on NVIDIA, but instead, I think people should be more bullish since NVIDIA's competitive advantage is so obvious. For example, this is also my thoughts, by the way. If DeepSeek could do this with inferior chips, imagine what they could do with the best products on the freaking market, right? Because NVIDIA is clearly the best in the world right now. It's pretty clear. So from this perspective as well, shouldn't they do then even better? This brings me to how I see the market today. First, AI models are largely thought to be infrastructure, but I don't agree with this framing. I see them more as cars. All cars have 4 wheels and an engine, but they come in a variety of wrappers. Some people like fast cars and some people like big cars. Some people like red, some people like black. Some people like Ferrari and others like Tesla. There's something different for everyone. Models are similar in that it will not be a winner-take-all market. There'll be different models for different use cases. It makes no sense to invest capital in a single model, hoping it's the only model to rule them all. That is not how technology works, at least in a fair sort of market where competition is available. That's not how tech will go. Next, I'm a firm. This is a long ass post, man. This guy has been sitting there for hours writing this, or maybe he used DeepSeek to write the post. Next, I'm a firm believer that investing in companies that use AI rather than make AI will be the right way to play the market. There may be 1 or 2 model producers that accrue significant value, but I'm not trying to pick the needle in a haystack. I simply want to have above average returns across the sector. As Howard Marks points out, if you try to be the top performer every year, then you have to be willing to be the bottom performer when you're wrong, because you're basically betting on the best winning horse. And if that's not true, you're going to lose instead of being like an average or slightly above average return person. I'm spending a lot of time looking for companies that are using AI to drive down expenses and increase productivity. One metric that I continue to evaluate is revenue per employee. I don't want to merely see a static measurement, but instead I want to see this number improving over time. If a company starts with $500,000 of revenue per employee and 2 years later it has 1.2 mil in revenue per employee, this is a company that I would be interested in understanding better because they're making significant leaps. So that makes sense. AI, man, this has been going on for a while. Is he almost done? We loving this or we hating this, guys? What are we thinking? Continue on? What are you guys thinking? Yes or no? Let's vote. Continue with AI. We go by majority vote. Let's give it a few seconds to marinate in. Let's see. If we zoom out real quick. Why is it not zooming? Majority have said no. But it's only 100 votes. Let's wait for a little bit over 100 votes and then we conclude. But I think it's going to be no. So we'll talk about something else. The water consumption of AI caught me off guard. It's bad. What? Really? All right, I'm going to say majority have said no, so let's continue on. So right now as it stands, the market is a bit choppy because of the reasons I just described. For the most part, people are just afraid that, you guys are saying Bitcoin is diving off a cliff. Let me quickly take a look. You guys are right. Bitcoin is having another chopping session, huh? But I guess perhaps it might be correlated with the Dow or something along those lines. Maybe we're seeing some chopping across the board there as well. So over the past 2 hours, let's see here. Bitcoin has again fallen roughly 3%, back to below $100,000, whereas a few hours ago, it was back to 102.3. So again, the strategy as it currently stands, because many people must be asking, are we buying here? Well, if I was a Bitcoin maxi, which I'm not, but if I were, I would most likely just buy every single time I get the chance to and not time it so much. That's a person who is fully betting on Bitcoin because they either have a lot of money or they do not care or they just believe in one asset. Then I would always just probably buy, it doesn't matter where it is. Just like Michael Saylor, they just bought another, how many billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin just now? I think he bought 10,000 Bitcoin. So from that perspective, maybe he bought $1 billion more today or the last few days at 105,000 a Bitcoin. Over time, it doesn't really matter. On the short term, it might look annoying, but it's just about getting more money and buying. I kind of hold that idea as well, that it doesn't matter too much what price you buy at. You just do not got to get scared, and you got to be able to hold for a couple months. So that basically means if you just keep buying more whenever you get the money, that is my thoughts, right? You'll most likely be fine over a couple month span. On the short term, though, you might get a little bit wrecked in the sense that it's not fun to watch the price be at way below what you bought at, but that is again because you do not know where it will be at tomorrow or the next few days. Now, having said that, if we go by that basis that it doesn't matter what price we buy at, it just matters how long we're able to hold for and how many coins we're able to get, then my answer should always be, should we be buying? If that's the question asked, I would say yes, but most likely you have to have a good plan for when you're going to be entering a position, when, or you might actually get lost in the sauce a little bit, where you get lost in trying to actually still time it too much, trying to, you know what, today we actually went up a bit too much, just like how, for example, right now, the XP price is below $3. So this should be a pretty simple, easy, instant buy. But maybe I was too late. I could have bought it 260 something earlier today. And now because I am so obsessed on the fact that I could have bought cheaper, now I might not buy anymore at these levels purely based on what prices we got to before. And so from that perspective, even if I do manage to get myself a good discount in comparison to where prices were at yesterday, right? We go from 313 to 293, and I should basically be buying here again. From another angle, I should basically wait for things coming down lower because I could have bought there yesterday. So right now I feel bad, right, over this short amount of time. So the counter is, if I believe we're going to, for example, $10 over, so no, not 280, my friend. We said 270 to 260. You can watch this back, all right? Again, did I really follow my own advice too much? Not necessarily. But 270 to 260 was pretty accurate, and I want that to be known. I'm not going to be right every single time. Definitely not. I'm not claiming that at all. But we were right this time, which is pretty cool. Even though I did not expect it to happen this severely. We did talk yesterday about a choppy session, but I didn't expect the chopping to be this severe on Bitcoin. I expected tech stocks, sure. But in this sense, it's kind of weird to me that it crossed over so much. Regardless, based on, like I just said, there's two different schools of thoughts. One is we buy every single place, because if we know it's going to go to $10 anyway, then why not buy just at any point? On the other is, no, you got to maximize the lowest price possible. But both of them have their benefits. Both of them have their downsides. Somebody says, where is Bitcoin dominance right now? I'm not sure what you mean with where is it at. You mean just the number? We can edit the poll, by the way. Or end the poll. Moneybacks is all tied together. I get that, but to some extent, it doesn't really make sense too much for Bitcoin to go down so severely when tech stocks are in this spot. But as you can see right now, Bitcoin is just on the chopping block again, going down roughly. Let's take a little bit of a look. Let's see. It was just now 100.8 thousand, right now 99.7, so down 1.5% or so in the past 15 minutes or so. So actually pretty significant. But again, Bitcoin at these levels, in my opinion, is always pretty cheap. But I always have people saying, no, you should actually be waiting for 70,000. Because there's even guys like Arthur Hayes, who said a $70,000 to $75,000 Bitcoin could happen. I'm not the biggest fan of that. But most likely what's happening right now as well is they're trying to cascade liquidations. You know, they're trying to stack it on stack it on stack it. But personal thoughts, I think right now we're quite cheap for coins like Bitcoin, for XRP, etc. It's only a mental barrier. We could have bought cheaper, so I don't want to buy, right? But is 293 really cheap? Theoretically speaking, it's still quite cheap. It is up roughly what? 10% or so from the bottom, but if you think about it from where it was at yesterday, we're down roughly 7% from where we were at yesterday. So in comparison to that, we have a 7% advantage, and over good sizes, that could be a significant sum of money. Now, again, we could have said, well, if we bought the dip, we could be up roughly 11% right now. With leverage, this could be 110%. So we could have basically doubled our money this morning if we were playing the game right, which is true. But on the opposite side, somebody's asking, why did it go down? We covered that in detail just now, but the long story short is new Chinese AI that is competing with ChatGPT for significantly cheaper. Somebody says, I'm not planning to sell, waiting until 25,000. I really hope you're not talking about $25,000 a coin, right? Nathan says, I'll buy more $2. Also solid. For example, if we have budget restraints and we are very, very careful with our entry, we're really trying to get the most perfect of perfect executions, it's not actually a bad idea to wait, for example, for another 190 or a $2 point. Because even though it might never happen, if it does, you're almost certain to get yourself a very good spot. And that's also another strategy that some people use, right? Only go for the perfect entry. Like, for example, there's a couple of markers here. There was a $3. There was $3, a good price point, $2.60 to $2.70, good price point, $2 to $1.89. Those three price points are very, very interesting to get yourself positions at. Again, those are the main inflection points that we expect to see. So from that perspective, those are not bad to try at. The only negative side is you might never go towards the lower prices. Somebody says, Sailor will rug pull and disappear. That is the craziest thing I've heard ever. If you think about it, that man will make most money if prices go up. But on the opposite side, he's a very wealthy man already. He doesn't need anything to happen except for Bitcoin to just continue sideways or up. But most likely, since we're probably going to keep going up for a long time, he's going to be maybe one of the wealthiest people on earth soon enough. I do kind of believe in that story. Also, if somebody's talking about a random coin in this chat box, the probability of you getting scammed is very high, all right? For example, this, hey, I don't want to be rude to you, right? But this kind of sounds like a scam. Swift, I would not buy that just based on the idea alone that somebody's talking about it here and I've never heard about it. I would not go for it. It could still do 1,000x. Who knows, right? But I wouldn't do it unless it's a big coin. In this case here, the coin is up 50% in a day. Yeah, could be pretty cool. It's not a small cap. Maybe it's doing good stuff. But I'm saying most people will be scammers. I'm not saying you are, by the way. All right? Maybe your coin is a good one. Because in this case here, I took a look at it. It's 400th in the rankings. Not bad. It's not a small cap. But if somebody's showing you a meme coin, be careful. Somebody says, will you be listening to XRP Community Day tomorrow? What in the world are you talking about? What do you think about XCN? I talked about it a few times just now. He says it's not a meme coin. I just said it's not a meme coin, my friend. Another thing, what is really funny when I look at the comments is there's a lot of people who always say, yeah, but this coin, take a look at it, it's so good. And I keep telling you guys, if I were to buy every single coin that you guys think is good, I would never sit still in my life anymore. There's always going to be another person with another coin, with another idea, with another this, that. I don't mind missing half the coins as long as I've got a couple of solid ones. And again, it comes back to the idea of if you want to catch all the right coins, you're going to probably lose a lot of the time. Then again, if you're trying to bet everything on one, you're also having a pretty good chance to lose. So I always say, try to go for a couple. Get yourself a good little nest in a couple of different baskets. Don't overdo it by spreading yourself too thin, but also don't overdo it by, wow, look at this, by the way. Who was, is not doing too well. I mean, it's still up tremendously this month, though. So, this Onyx coin, a lot of you guys keep talking about, it's down tremendously just now. 8% over the hour, 30% today. But still over the week, up 120%. So anybody who got in early still might be having a field day. But what an interesting chopping block, huh? Interestingly enough, a lot of coins are down tremendously. 𝗕𝗃 is almost halved from its high point a few weeks ago. And a lot of coins like WIF are down 70% or so from there, 75% from its high point. So really, a lot of memes have been on the chopping block, if I had to say so. They're not doing good right now. Not doing good at all right now. Look at that, huh? Just complete chopping. Absolutely crazy right now. Wow. It's peculiar to watch, though, because it makes you realize this market's really, really fragile nonetheless. The fact that so many coins are down such numbers from their high point, it's actually really interesting when you start thinking about it. At least to me. Let's quickly take a look. Okay, wow, some coins are down 30% from some of their high points. Whoa, I'm just taking a look at a lot of the coins, but they're down tremendously throughout this time, man. Damn. Doesn't matter, by the way. It's not a bad thing. Except for right now, market doing a bit of chopping. Again, not a bad thing. I don't really mind. I don't think it's a bad thing at all. If I listen to the comments, I'd hate myself right now. But the long story short is, you're getting yourself some good freaking discounts because the market is overreacting to tech news. That's the long gist of it, right? You guys did not want me to continue on with the air thread. I get it. But the long story short, this brings me back to where I started. The market is melting down today. Nvidia was down more than 11% this morning, and stocks across the board were crashing. Every mainstream media outlet was talking like financial markets were under attack. Even Bitcoin fell below 100,000 just now. The horror. But I think you should take a deep breath and see the situation for what it is. The market is testing the emotional discipline of investors. As Buffett always says, the market is a voting machine in the short term, but a weighing machine in the long term. Don't fail the test. I believe the best way to invest at the edges of innovation is to apply timeless investing principles to new innovation. You want to look for compounding businesses, even if they aren't necessarily throwing off cash today, and optimize for companies that will have resilience to thrive regardless of market conditions. We're watching a multi-decade situation start to play out. It is the early innings. You can put your capital into AI companies. You can put it into Bitcoin and crypto. You can put money into companies using AI and Bitcoin. There's opportunity everywhere. The best time to be alive will be tomorrow. The second best time is today. We're watching an explosion of economic activity, and I predict it will continue for the next few years. There will be volatility along the way, but you need volatility if you want gains. Be thankful we aren't living through a dead money period. Keep your head on straight, and don't panic buy or panic sell. Everything you want is at the end of your long-term thinking process. You just have to survive to get there. So every single person, if you've been looking at the market right now thinking, oof, I'm getting hurt. I'm not loving this. I'm not loving this at all. This is all bad. First of all, make sure you press that like button. Second of all, put that notification bell on if you haven't done it yet. And third of all, take a chill pill. All right, relax them shoulders a little bit. Take a little breather. Get yourself good strategy in for longer term success. Again, if I had to say numbers, I'd probably take a look at, for example, getting yourself another entry between 270, 260 in XRP, getting out again at $3 if wanted to be conservative. Something along those lines. It just seems like a solid bounce zone. Doesn't necessarily have to stay that way, that this is the zone we're going to stay in for a while. It could actually revive pretty significantly tomorrow. There could be more chopping. Why do I keep stating chopping is maybe on the horizon? Is because of all the negativity around, let me quickly go and find it again. Around this, Arthur Hayes is here. There's so much negativity right now in the space. There is a little bit of a chance of more chopping. I am going to openly admit it. Does it make sense? No, I wouldn't necessarily state that this is where it should be at. But again, if everybody is panicking, if everybody's talking about, no, we're going down, Usually the opposite happens, but sometimes it continues on for a bit because you have cascading losses, right? So you have, for example, let me quickly look at liquidations. You have liquidations, stacking on liquidations, stacking on liquidations, and sometimes that lasts for a little while. Usually it recovers quite quickly though, but here, take a look. We've got about you can't see. We've got about $1 billion worth of liquidations though over the past 24 hours. Not even the craziest of days, but pretty significant nonetheless. And so when you're taking a look at that, yeah, I mean, today it could be that it ignites a little bit of a price dip further because of all the fear going around. Will it stay? In my opinion, it will not. So I'm just getting excited here. People were over leveraged. It corrected a little bit. Mostly, I don't think it was a leverage flush, though. I think the flush might still happen. I mean, most altcoins have been slow bleeding for a while. You can't see. There's a couple of coins that are down significantly, but most of our solid coins are not. You see, Fartcoin, XCAD, and Iridium are down 20%, but the rest, most of them are not even down double digits. There's a few, but most of the solid ones, they're down significantly, but nothing too crazy, right? Again, take a look at this. A real chopping day is where you see 25, 35, 17, 18, 19 all across the board. Here, I'm going to actually take it back. There is a little bit more chopping to be seen than I expected because I'm seeing now that these are actually all double digits as well. So this is pretty significant chopping. But this is not a leverage flush. This is just normal chopping, right? Leverage flush is minus 30% a day. Back in May of 2021, do you know that some coins went down 60, 70% in one day? This is nothing, right? In comparison to how much the Dow just crashed and how tech stocks are performing, usually, or NASDAQ I should say, usually this is also met with even more hostility. We're quite okay, all right? It's not as severe as some of you guys might think. It could be way, way, way worse. However, so many people are throwing up, saying, oh no, we're going a bit lower, oh, whoa, whoa. And that sometimes might be true. But we all know what we're holding. Think about it from a slightly longer term. If you also want to trade, you know where to find it. Right now, prices are choppy. We're in an interesting spot. Again, we know where we're entering again. The 270 below range is interesting here. I would personally not really go for it. For spot bags, it's still pretty cheap here, right? As we speak, it's pretty cheap. But for any positions, it's not actually that cheap. We're looking for anything even juicier, slightly lower. Mostly because right now it's such a volatile time. We do not know how the market will react more towards this NVIDIA stuff. Maybe if that crashes further, we can also see a reflection back on these markets. Will it last though? I do not think so. Even Michael Silly just keeps on buying. That's always my motivation here. Keep thinking it doesn't matter that much. It doesn't matter that much. It doesn't matter that much. It's all a short-term thing. All right, if we go down further, c'est la vie. It is what it is. But we got to have a backup strategy in place if we're talking about these positions, which is just make sure we add more margin, make sure we add more margin, make sure we add more margin, or get out and try to buy back in a deep freaking spot. Because how low can we go, huh? I don't think it's that low for the top coins. Unless you're trading meme coins right now, then you're not having a field day. But hey. Guys, that was it for right now. Just want to quickly cover the AI situation because it is crazy. If you enjoyed the stream, if you've been here for a while, make sure you go ahead and press that like button and make sure you put the notification button on so you're always notified whenever something crazy happens. It was in the middle of the night that we chopped hard, so unfortunately, I was not there. But soon, if something happens, today, tomorrow, whatever, I'll try to get you guys another update, unless, of course, I am sleeping. But I try to never sleep, so I can always get you guys more news. So this is about it for right now. If something happens, I'll be right back here with the stream. Make sure you put the notification button on if you haven't.